A crash involving a tractor trailer and a garbage truck has left one person dead and another fighting for their life in Mississauga.
And a Markham crash that left two people with life-threatening injuries may have been caused deliberately by someone throwing a rock, and police believe there may be more incidents.
And music lovers, listen to this. A new and temporary concert venue is coming to Toronto. We'll tell you where it's going.
This is Live at 5. Good evening, I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
And I'm Lena Latifat. Thank you for joining us and welcome to Live at 5. One person is dead and another critically injured after a tractor trailer and a garbage truck collided in Mississauga.
We're going to go live to CP24 CJ Liu at the scene at Derry and Goreway. CJ, I know you just got there not too long ago, but what can you tell us so far about what's going on here?
Well, it certainly is a very devastating scene. The seriousness of this crash is evident. The front portions of the garbage truck and tractor trailer involved in the incident are completely decimated. Judging by how unrecognizable the front bumpers are, this looks like it could be a head-on collision. There were two light posts here previously, but those have since been knocked down. We know this happened shortly before 2:30 this afternoon between this garbage truck and the tractor trailer. A man and woman were rushed to the hospital with critical injuries. Police have since confirmed that one of them have died in the hospital. The other person remains in critical condition. Now, this collision has led to road closures in the area. What you're looking at right now, Derry Road, is closed between Goreway Drive and Highway 27. Now, this happened in front of apartment buildings. So as you can see near the fences there, a lot of people have been coming out of their building to take a look at the collision, at the aftermath. A small memorial is actually growing with some people coming out and bringing flowers. But as of this time, we don't know what led to the collision. Police have not said, but they do plan on providing an update in the next hour or so. But as of right now, drivers in the area are being told to avoid the scene. Back to you.
All right, CJ Liu live in Mississauga, working on this developing story. CJ, thanks so much. 5:02, 24 degrees, feeling more like 25 out there. Lots of sunshine. If you're heading home, you'll have to consider that. Adjwan Siabwa standing by with a look at your traffic details. Hey there, Adj.
Oh, hey, Lena. Yeah, it has been quite the tough drive. At least the sunshine's accompanying you, but so are problems. We're dealing with issues on the Burlington Skyway. It's on the Niagara-bound, Toronto-bound lanes, actually, the Burlington Skyway. It's the two left lanes that are out following this collision. Definitely seeing a delay from Nikola Tesla Boulevard and Toronto Niagara-bound traffic. Definitely slowing to take a look. And then as you make your way further east on the QEW, this is just as you approach Mississauga Road. Stalled vehicle is in the left lane. On the Niagara-bound lanes of the QEW, just as you approach Burloak, a vehicle into the ditch. MTO blacked out their camera, but it is the right lane and shoulder that is out. Problems I can see on camera continue, but are getting a bit better. This is the southbound lanes of the 427 through Finch. Multi-vehicle collision. Two right lanes remain blocked. They managed to reopen the left and the HOV lane, but the slowdowns that still remain. A reminder on city streets, Derry Road remains not accessible following a very serious collision. Shut down both ways between Goreway to west of the 427.
This CP24 traffic report is brought to you by 407 ETR. Enjoy the journey with a stress-free commute.
OPP believe a serious crash in Markham last week was caused by someone throwing a rock at a vehicle.
Yeah, two people suffered life-threatening injuries in the two-vehicle collision at Highway 48 and Major Mackenzie late Friday night. Investigators believe that a rock was deliberately thrown at the windshield of the one vehicle by a person or from a passing vehicle leading to the crash. They also say that around 10:30 on Friday night, two drivers suffered minor injuries when rocks struck windshields on Highway 48 north of Elgin Mills.
We were trying to get some people to come forward. We do believe that there's a link between these two incidents, and actually just as recently as this morning, we've been able to identify that there may have been other incidents potentially in the weeks leading up to this one.
They've now released this surveillance video and dash cam footage as part of their investigation. They're trying to identify the vehicle, saying the driver and/or occupants may have information that could assist in the investigation. Anyone who has information is being asked to contact Aurora OPP or Crime Stoppers.
Well, investigators have released a photo of a suspect wanted in a 2022 double murder. 34-year-old Philip Grant is wanted in the shooting deaths of two men near 30th Street and Horner Avenue in Etobicoke on January 3rd, 2022. Police say they have information that Grant is in the Greater Toronto area. Any sightings of the suspect should be reported to 911 immediately.
Canadian rapper Kanon is charged in a sexual assault in Quebec dating back 14 years.
Then they deceive us, tried to control us, they couldn't hold us.
The 47-year-old musician was arrested in Quebec City yesterday. Charges filed in court say Kanon, whose real name is Kanon Abdi Warsami, is facing one charge of sexual assault in an alleged incident dating back to July of 2010.
Well, the woman who accused Jacob Hogarth of sexually assaulting her in Northern Ontario 8 years ago faced another day of cross-examination at his trial today. Hogarth's accuser alleges he raped, hit, and choked her in a hotel room after she attended his band's concert and after party in Kirkland Lake. The former Headley frontman has pleaded not guilty. The complainant pushed back on suggestions from Hogarth's lawyer that she was inconsistent in describing how she left the hotel room and that she posted online about the alleged assault and that she sees the musician as a wealthy person.
A new concert stadium with the capacity for 50,000 people is coming to the Downsview area next summer.
Yeah, for all the details on Rogers Stadium, let's go live to CP24's Beatrice Baseman, who is at the site tonight. So what do people need to know about this, Beatrice?
That it's coming soon, about 9 months from now. Lena and Lindsay, this venue, Rogers Stadium, is going to be up and running here at YZD Developments. This is a space of 370 acres in total, and it's going to be home to this stadium. We heard today from the spokesperson, the head of Live Nation, who talked about the need for this stadium and why there is such a big market for it in terms of attracting these huge artists to come to this city. There's not a lot of different places for them to go in terms of options. The Dome can accommodate about that many people, but the Blue Jays play there. And so with a busy summer concert series, they thought this could be the next big idea. The fact of the matter is North Crest Developments, who acquired these lands, or the former Downsview airport lands, they're going to create this 30-year plan on this space, and it's going to have housing, a community center, and essentially turning into various different communities to have 55,000 people one day live there. The problem is it takes time, right? You got to get paving, you got to get the permits, you got to do all the environmental testing. And so until all of that can be done, they thought, what better way to welcome people up here to Downsview, where there's easy access to public transit, than this big, huge concert venue, seasonal, summer only, but it's going to be here. Here's a bit of what we heard this morning.
This new venue will be home to a diverse group of entertainers and performers at the highest level, from K-pop to Afrobeat, Punjabi to Latin. Our goal is to have programming that speaks to and for all communities in the GTA. Sustainability and cultural engagement are at the heart of the project. We are committed to creating an accessible and environmentally friendly space that reflects the values of our city.
It will bring out millions of fans. Imagine the sun setting, outdoor, 50,000 people, the biggest seasonal outdoor venue in Toronto, all coming together, enjoying music, enjoying each other's company. It is magical to be able to see the stars. Yes, we go into indoor concert, but it's something different.
Especially when the venue is that big, a lot bigger than Bud Stage, a lot bigger than the Scotiabank Arena as well. You might remember SARS from about 20 years ago. That was part of the inspiration for this seasonal venue. And so the minds that came up with this, Lena and Lindsay, are hoping that some of the biggest stars in the world, the Beyoncés, the Taylor Swifts, even the amateur, small, barely known bands like Oasis might even consider coming to play up here in Downsview. Back to you.
Okay, CP24 is Beatrice Baseman reporting live. Got to get Oasis in there. Thanks, B. It is 5:09 right now, 23 degrees. This is Live at 5.
Well, it is being called the city's 4th emergency response service. Coming up, the Toronto Community Crisis Service, now available citywide. We'll tell you how you can get in touch.
Welcome back. A milestone today for mental health supports across the city.
The Toronto Community Crisis Service is now available citywide. The number to call is 211. It's described as the city's 4th emergency response service, providing free, confidential, in-person mental health support from mobile crisis teams 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
When you call 211, you will have a trained crisis person coming in, finding a program or a crisis bed, do counseling, do the follow-up, and listen, and provide the best care. It is the kind of approach people in crisis needs when they are not well.
This groundbreaking service provides a non-police, community-based, client-focused, and trauma-informed response to mental health crisis and wellness checks in our city. It is one of the priorities under SafeTO, the City of Toronto's Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan.
Now that we've been running this for about 30 months, we have seen over and over again how someone who is trained in mental health care and who comes with a caring approach to a person automatically and quickly de-escalates a situation, and then they stay engaged to help with follow-up to try and prevent the next crisis. So that's why CMHA Toronto and all of our team who's here with me today are so privileged and so honored to be part of this work.
Each day, as we hear the stories of those we serve, I'm reminded of the significant impact that we can have together. Our work is not just a career. It is a true higher calling, driven by compassion and deep understanding of the people that we serve. At the heart of our mission lies a wealth of expertise combined with lived experience.
Well, the crisis service was launched as a pilot in 2022, and it's now expanded to every neighborhood earlier than planned.
The Bentway, a popular public space underneath the Gardiner, is expanding.
Yeah, the second phase, called the Bentway Islands, will turn 3 traffic islands from Dan Leckie Way to Spadina Avenue into a massive public space. Field operations and urban design firm who helped on New York City's High Line, and Brooke McElroy, a Canadian expert in planning and architecture, they were chosen to design this site. Initial concepts are expected to be unveiled in 2025. Construction likely won't start until the multi-year rehab construction on the Gardiner is completed, by the way.
The Education Quality and Accountability Office has released its provincial results for this year's testing. Over 500,000 students in elementary schools and secondary schools across the province participated in the EQAO assessments. The results found that many students are meeting the provincial standard in mathematics. Several English and French language school boards saw significant improvements in students' mathematics achievements.
Well, a new study suggests more than a third of children worldwide are nearsighted, and that number is expected to continue to rise. Research published in the British Journal of Ophthalmology found 36% of children are now nearsighted, with a notable spike since the pandemic. This is interesting. It represents a 12% increase compared to 30 years ago. The study involved nearly 5.5 million children in 50 countries. Researchers recommend parents limit their kids' screen exposure to help protect their vision.
It is 5:15 now, sitting at 23 degrees. This is Live at 5.
Well, all eyes on Hurricane Helene. It is set to make landfall tonight in northwest Florida. We're giving you a live shot from Naples, Florida tonight. The message is evacuate as soon as possible. Officials are warning it could be a nightmare scenario. We're going to have more on this system coming up next. Welcome back. The federal Conservatives launched a new attempt to bring down the Liberal government today by bringing forward another non-confidence motion.
Given that, after 9 years, the government has doubled housing costs, taxed food, punished work, unleashed crime, and is the most centralizing government in Canadian history, the House has lost confidence in the government and offers Canadians the option to axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime.
There's a very simple answer to his question as to who's opposed to that motion. Canadians.
Pierre Poilievre introduced the motion less than 24 hours after his first one failed to secure enough votes. The Bloc and New Democrats joined with the Liberals to defeat it. The new motion is still being debated in the House of Commons, and the Conservatives are looking to trigger a snap election after the NDP abandoned its supply and confidence deal with the Liberals.
So more political drama on the Hill.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, Helene is now a major Category 3 hurricane as it barrels across the Gulf of Mexico toward the southeastern U.S., really intensifying today. The fast-moving storm is roughly 300 kilometers southwest of Tampa now, and it is packing winds of at least 179 kilometers per hour. It's expected to strengthen further. Forecasters say Helene will likely be extremely dangerous Category 4 hurricane at landfall. This is a live shot from Naples, Florida tonight. You can see some people are still in the area, even though many have been asked to evacuate. And now, when the storm does make landfall, it's expected to happen on Florida's northwestern coast. And that's set to happen tonight. So all eyes on this system. Meantime, the governors of Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, and Virginia, they've all declared states of emergencies. Officials warn Helene could cause a nightmare scenario of catastrophic storm surge, trigger flooding, and spawn tornadoes, as well as cause significant damage that could impact hundreds of miles of inland.
The storm, it's coming. We're already seeing some effects in the southern part of the state. We're going to continue to see conditions deteriorate throughout the rest of the day, and we are anticipating a landfall as likely a major hurricane sometime this evening.
We continue to partner and work with our local emergency management officials, with our sheriff's office. They go and they encourage people, those that are in those potentially catastrophic areas due to storm surge and flooding. They're encouraging them to leave because that window is going to close very soon. There'll come a point in time this afternoon where it is no longer safe to leave. There will be no public transportation. You can't get an Uber out of your home. And so we don't want people driving out through the storm when the storm is already hitting that particular area.
More than 1,000 U.S. flights have been canceled today due to Hurricane Helene. That's according to FlightAware. Airports in Tampa, Clearwater, and Tallahassee are all closed for the day. Tallahassee. It's unclear when operations will ramp back up in the affected area. Once again, here's a live look at Naples, Florida. People
trying
in the water,
to surf.
surfing.
That is not a good idea. My
Probably
goodness.
not.
Wow. Okay. We're going to keep a close eye on what's happening in Florida tonight. Hopefully no more of that. Yeah. Well, Israel has rejected a proposal for a ceasefire with Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Lebanon's health ministry says nearly 700 people have been killed this week as Israel dramatically escalated strikes, saying it's targeting Hezbollah's military capacities. Hezbollah has been firing rockets toward Israel, but the Israel military says of 175 launched yesterday, more were intercepted or fell in open areas.
And Israel's military chief has said the country was preparing for a possible ground operation in Lebanon, and tanks have been moved to northern Israel. The U.S. and other Israel allies have called for a 3-week halt in fighting to try and avert a wider war. But Israel's foreign minister says there will be no ceasefire until Hezbollah is defeated.
Canada, meanwhile, has released a joint statement with the U.S. and several other allies on the conflict. And that statement reads, in part, the situation between Lebanon and Israel since October 8th, 2023 is intolerable and presents an unacceptable risk of a broader regional escalation. This is in nobody's interest, neither of the people of Israel nor of the people of Lebanon. It goes on to say, it is time to conclude a diplomatic settlement that enables civilians on both sides of the border to return to their homes in safety. Diplomacy, however, cannot succeed amid an escalation of this conflict.
Now, the Israeli military says it hit about 75 targets belonging to Hezbollah in Lebanon overnight. Lebanese officials say 19 Syrian refugees and a Lebanese national were killed after an Israeli airstrike destroyed a building housing workers. The Israel Defense Forces says the strikes targeted weapons, storage facilities, rocket launcher sites, and what it described as terrorist infrastructure. The military says it's continuing to, quote, dismantle and degrade Hezbollah's capabilities, end quote.
Family members, meanwhile, of hostages taken by Hamas during the October 7th attack on Israel want any possible ceasefire deal with Hezbollah to include the release of captives in Gaza.
We urge all of the people involved to make sure that every deal, every agreement, everything that might bring peace and security to the region also includes the hostages. Because if it doesn't, that means that we keep the war going forever and ever, and innocent people on both sides of the border are just going to suffer from it.
And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrived in New York today, where he will deliver a speech to the United Nations General Assembly tomorrow.
In other news, New York City Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted on federal charges for bribery, fraud, and other offenses.
Adams is accused of accepting bribes and taking illegal campaign contributions from foreign sources. Earlier today, FBI agents entered his official residence and seized his phone hours before the indictment was unsealed. Adams has vowed to stay on as New York City's mayor, describing any changes he may face as entirely false and based on lies.
From here, my attorneys will take care of the case so I can take care of the city. My day-to-day will not change. I will continue to do the job for 8.3 million New Yorkers that I was elected to do. And the 300,000 plus employees of our city government will continue to do their jobs. Because this is what we do as New Yorkers.
The U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York outlined the allegations against Adams earlier today.
Mayor Adams engaged in a long-running conspiracy in which he solicited and knowingly accepted illegal campaign contributions from foreign donors and corporations. As we allege, Mayor Adams took these contributions even though he knew they were illegal. And even though he knew these contributions were attempts by a Turkish government official and Turkish businessmen to buy influence with him. We also allege that the mayor sought and accepted well over $100,000 in luxury travel benefits from some of the same foreign actors who arranged many of the illegal campaign contributions.
Adams is due in court tomorrow to be arraigned on the charges, but he says he will not step down as the mayor of New York City.
Time now is 5:25, 23 degrees. This is Live at 5.
Coming up, Canadian Olympic champion Maggie McNeil is retiring from the pool. We'll tell you more about her big announcement. Welcome back. Olympic champion Maggie McNeil is retiring from swimming.
That's right. The 24-year-old won gold in the 100-meter butterfly in Tokyo, as well as silver and bronze medals in the relay events. McNeil took home 5 gold medals at the 2023 Pan Am Games in Chile. That's the most ever for a Canadian. In a post on social media, she says she's embarking on discovering who she is outside of swimming.
What a superstar. So excited for whatever she decides to do next.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's 5:28, 23 degrees. This is Live at 5.
Coming up, Live Nation is building a new concert venue at Downsview, set to open next summer. We'll have more details about Rogers Stadium coming up. A crash involving a tractor trailer and a garbage truck has left one person dead and another fighting for their life in Mississauga.
A Markham crash that left 2 people with life-threatening injuries may have been caused deliberately by someone throwing a rock, and police believe there may be more incidents.
And music lovers, listen to this. A new and temporary concert venue is coming to Toronto. We'll tell you where it's going to be coming
You're
up.
watching Live at 5. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Lena Latifat.
And I'm Lindsay Biscaya. Welcome to Live at 5. A new concert stadium with the capacity for 50,000 people is coming to the Downsview area next summer.
For all the details on Rogers Stadium, let's bring in CP24's Beatrice Faisman, who is at the site tonight. This is great news. Beatrice, tell us more.
Yeah, it's music to music lovers' ears, Lena and Lindsay. I mean, this is something that has really been one of the best kept secrets in the city of Toronto. The Rogers Stadium coming June 2025, and it'll have the capacity for 50,000 50,000 people to be here to witness some of the biggest, best artists and performers in the entire world. That's how it's being pitched. 50,000 capacity, that's tens of thousands more than Budweiser Stage, Scotiabank Arena, about the same as the Dome, but the Blue Jays play there. And so in the summer, it's really tough to get a spot. And so just in time for the summer concert series, the Rogers Stadium is going to be open right here in North York. It's going to be on 370 acres of land that's been acquired as part of the YZD developments. There's going to include one day, thousands of homes, a community where some 55,000 residents are going to live, different neighborhoods and hubs, a community center. But in the interim, as Northcrest Developments waits to get the construction for those developments actually underway, they're going to make use of the lands as a premier destination to see live music. And here's a bit of what we heard earlier this morning.
YZD is a real estate development project. We're creating 7 new neighborhoods on the lands that used to be a former manufacturing facility for Bombardier. Because the project's going to take 30 years to build out, we're looking to bring unique experiences and destinations to the lands in the meantime that transforms before development is going to happen. So this Rogers Stadium will be the first of many experiences that people will be able to access once it's open next year.
This new stadium is just going to be a huge boost for our city, for our province, a huge boost for the arts and culture and tourism. And that's plays such an important role here in Ontario, contributing billions of dollars to our economy and supporting hundreds of thousands of jobs.
And let's be clear, I mean, this area is no stranger to hosting some of these huge music events and festivals. The Veldt Music Festival happens at Downsview Park every year. Lots of other festivals do too. Back in 2003, Sarstock, there were tens of thousands of people there to see that epic show. And so Live Nation's saying, hey, Toronto's missing out on some of these stadium level performers by not having more options for them to play. And so here we have Rogers Stadium coming just in time for next summer. Back to you.
Very exciting. Okay, CP24's Beatrice Vaisman reporting live. Thanks, B. It's 5:34 now. Time for a check on the roads with Adjua. How's the rush hour doing, Adj?
Still very slow, jam-packed. You name the route, you're barely moving. And adding to that, we still have problems, Lindsay. This is on the QBW Niagara bound on the approach to Cawthra. From what I can tell, it's not the best camera. Looks like they're blocking a number of lanes. Looks like just maybe a single lane is getting by. So a really, really tough drive for commuters as they navigate on the Niagara-bound lanes of the QEW. Then Niagara-bound QEW, just as you approach Burloak, vehicle still in the ditch. So we do have tow on scene. They're trying to get that vehicle out, but the right lane and shoulder remains occupied. But on the Toronto-bound side of the QEW, this is unusually busy for this time of day to get from Centennial Parkway to the upside of the Burlington Skyway. But good news here, problems in the 2 left lanes have cleared, and we'll keep the good news rolling. Southbound 427 about to get a lot easier in terms of your drive. We had the 2 right lanes blocked with a serious collision that just cleared the scene. A reminder, Derry Road still closed because of a very serious collision between Goreway to west of the 427. I'll send it back to both of you.
Adjua, thanks so much for the update. Well, one person is dead and another critically injured after a tractor trailer and garbage truck collided in Mississauga.
Let's go live now to CP24's Sija Liu at the scene at Derry and Goreway tonight with more. Sija.
Whatever questions you guys are asking, I have.
Hi there. It's certainly a very tragic scene at this moment, but we do have the media officer for Peel Police on hand who is about to give an update in a moment. I'll turn the scene over to her now.
Good evening, everyone. So this afternoon, just before 2:30 p.m., on September 26, 2024, officers received a call in the area of Goreway Drive and Derry Road in the city of Mississauga for a 2-vehicle collision. The collision involved a transport truck and a garbage truck. The driver of the transport truck is an adult male who has been transported to a local hospital for his critical injuries. The driver of the garbage truck is an adult female driver who was also transported to a local hospital for her life-threatening injuries. Despite the best efforts of first responders, unfortunately, she succumbed to her injuries. Our Major Collision Bureau is on the scene right now, and they are investigating this incident. Ministry of Labor have also been advised of this incident. If anyone have any information regarding this incident, or they were in this area while this incident happened, or may have a dash cam footage, we encourage you to just contact us at our Major Collision Bureau, or if you wish to stay anonymous, you can contact Peel Crime Stoppers. At this time, this is a fresh investigation, and I have very limited details to share as of right now. Thank you.
Any details you can share on the cause of the crash?
Well, we are looking at all the possibilities right now which may have caused this collision, and as I said before, this is a fresh investigation, so I do not have any facts at this time.
Can you give us info about the age range of the victims?
The only information right now I have is there is a one adult male and there's one adult female.
Do you believe speed or impairment may be a factor in this crash?
Well, again, as I said, that we are looking at all the possibilities, and our Major Collision Bureau, they are investigating all the circumstances surrounding this incident as what may have occurred at that time which caused this collision.
Being that this happened in the early afternoon and this intersection is busy 24 hours a day, you're looking for dash cam, you're looking for witnesses to come forward, correct?
Yes, 100%. And as I mentioned before, if anybody was in that area around 2:25 p.m., between 2 o'clock to 2:30 p.m., who was in that area around this intersection, we encourage you to contact our Major Collision Bureau. And if you wish to stay anonymous, you can also contact us for pre-crime stoppers. Thank you.
Also, you said first responders responded with CPR, trying to, life-saving measures. Were people who witnessed the crash, were they involved in helping out as well?
I'm not aware of those details at this time, but I know that Mississauga Fire attended, and both the drivers, they were transported to a local hospital and they were giving treatment.
What are the steps you're taking to clear the scene and investigate right now? And how long might it be?
It may take a couple of hours, and we really appreciate our public to just cooperate with us, because this is an investigation, and our Major Collision Bureau and our forensics are also on the scene, and they will be trying to get all the details stemming from this incident. So this may take a couple of hours. Once it is all cleared, I will be updating on our Twitter just to let the public know that the scene is clear and the roadways are open. I'm not aware of these details at this time. As I said, this is a fresh incident, and our Major Collision Bureau are investigating this incident, so this is a very, very fresh information right now.
The Ministry of Labour is on scene. Why is that?
Well, because a transport truck and a garbage truck is involved, that's why. Well, that'd be it.
Can you just say and spell your name?
First name is Moulika, Moulika, Constable Moulika Sharma. Last name Sharma, Sharma. Constable, Public Affairs. Thank you.
All right, and we just heard from Constable Sharma here with Peel Police giving an update on this tragic collision. What you're looking at is a tractor trailer and a garbage truck. We have just learned that the driver of the garbage truck has died. She was an adult female. The male driver of the transport truck remains in the hospital with critical injuries. Now, this happened shortly before 2:30 this afternoon on Dairy Road West at the intersection of Gorway Drive. Right now, police can't say what caused the collision, but we do see skid marks along the road that around the area where light posts have been knocked over, and the damage is certainly extensive when it comes to the front of the vehicle. Now, we spoke with some residents in the area who were concerned about speed in the area. They say vehicles quite often speed past the yellow light here, but police right now can't confirm whether speed was a factor. They say they are exploring all possibilities when it comes to this crash. We do know the Ministry of Labour is now on scene investigating. They are called in whenever there is an accident involving a workplace. But as of right now, this road is closed, and officers are reminding everyone to keep out of this area, and they do expect to be on scene for the next couple of hours, and will provide any updates as they get it. Back to you.
Okay, what a terrible scene. Sija Liu live in Mississauga with the latest on this fatal crash between a transport truck and a garbage truck. Sija, thanks so much for this.
In other news we're following, OPP believe a serious crash in Markham last week was caused by someone throwing a rock at a vehicle.
2 people suffered life-threatening injuries in the 2-vehicle collision at Highway 48 and Major Mackenzie late Friday night. Investigators believe that a rock was deliberately thrown at the windshield of the one vehicle by a person or from a passing vehicle, leading to the crash. They also say that around 10:30 Friday night, 2 drivers suffered minor injuries when rocks struck windshields on Highway 48 north of Elgin Mills.
As you can imagine, we've done a lengthy canvass of the area, and from what we've been able to determine so far, it does not appear that there's any commercial vehicles in the area. It's late at night in a fairly rural area, and we have not seen any indication of any pedestrians active in the area. So I think it's pretty reasonable to believe at this point that the rock was thrown from a vehicle that was traveling in the other direction.
Police have now released this surveillance video and dash cam footage as part of their investigation. They're trying to identify the vehicles in it, saying that the driver and occupants may have information that could assist in the investigation. If you do, you're being asked to contact Aurora, OPP, or Crime Stoppers.
It's 5:42 now, 23 degrees. This is Live at 5.
It's being called the city's 4th emergency response service. Coming up, the Toronto Community Crisis Service is now available citywide. Details after the break. A milestone today for mental health supports across the city.
The Toronto Community Crisis Service is now available citywide. The number to call is 211. It's described as the city's 4th emergency response service, providing free, confidential, in-person mental health support for mobile crisis teams 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We know that it has, since March, when we started the service, you have received 18,000 calls, dispatched mobile crisis team to more than 15,000 times to provide people with mental health support, made more than 5,700 referrals to other services, support on mental health, substance use, and housing. All of those are so important.
It has been a long road to get here, as we heard from our elders. For years, many residents, communities, and organizations called on the City of Toronto to reimagine how we respond to mental health. Long-standing underinvestment in mental health treatment and community infrastructure was resulting in people not receiving timely or appropriate supports and falling into distress.
A couple of speakers before me talked about this as being a transformative program, and I believe that it is as well. We are now meeting mental health crises with mental health responses and with caring and bringing community to people. That's revolutionary in our society, and I want us to acknowledge and celebrate that.
Our staff comes from diverse backgrounds in the health and social justice field and bring a rich array of skills and insights. This unique combination ensures that we can effectively meet the diverse needs of our community. At TCCS, we are committed to not just listening, but supporting and empower individuals to access services, all while prioritizing community engagement and, most importantly, the voices of the people we serve.
The crisis service was launched as a pilot in 2022 and has now expanded to every neighborhood earlier than planned.
It is 5:47, 23 degrees. This is Live at 5.
Hurricane Helene is set to make landfall tonight in northwest Florida. This is a live look at Naples, Florida today. Officials are warning it could be a nightmare scenario. We've got the latest on the storm system moving in after the break. Stay with us. Forecasters say Helene will likely be an extremely dangerous Category 4 hurricane when it makes landfall on Florida's northwestern coast tonight. You're looking at Naples, Florida right now, a live shot of people standing on the pier watching the storm come in. Now, this fast-moving storm is roughly 300 kilometers southwest of Tampa, and it's packing winds of at least 179 kilometers per hour. And now here's a live look at a bridge in Tampa. Look at it shaking. The governors of Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, and Virginia have all declared emergencies today. Officials warn Helene could cause a nightmare scenario of catastrophic storm surge. It could trigger flooding and spawn tornadoes and could cause significant damage hundreds of miles inland.
This storm was never projected to make landfall on kind of the Florida Peninsula Gulf Coast, whether you're talking about Sarasota, Tampa, some of those areas. But because it's such a big storm, it's churning a lot of water. And so you're going to see surge all up and down the west coast of Florida. The water is going to rise, and that is going to create hazards as well.
Florida, of course, no stranger to hurricanes. We've had a number of hurricanes over the decades that have been devastating to certain communities. What we're seeing, of course, is this storm is coming very quickly. It's intensifying quickly, and it's going to be both a water and wind issue, right? So we want to make sure that people understand that there are challenges with both. And again, our number one priority really is the safety and preservation of life, which is why we've been working so closely with all of the emergency management folks and all of the law enforcement folks.
And pretty wild that people are standing by the water, but what's even more crazy is that some people are in the water. That's a live shot of some surfers by the water right now in Naples, Florida tonight. Obviously, the message is don't do that. More than 1,000 U.S. flights have been canceled today because of Hurricane Helene. That's according to FlightAware. Airports in Tampa, Clearwater, and Tallahassee, they're all closed for the day. It's unclear when operations will ramp back up in the affected areas.
To the Middle East now, where Israel has rejected a proposal for a ceasefire with Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Lebanon's health ministry says nearly 700 people have been killed this week as Israel dramatically escalated strikes, saying it's targeting Hezbollah's military capacities. Hezbollah has been firing rockets toward Israel, but the Israeli military says of 175 launched yesterday, more were intercepted or fell in open areas. And Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas addressed the United Nations General Assembly today amid the escalating violence in Lebanon.
Israel today is now launching a new aggression on the brotherly Lebanese people. The Lebanese people are now being subjected to a war of genocide. And Israel must stop the war in Lebanon and in Palestine. We condemn this aggression and we demand that it stops immediately.
And Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says a ceasefire is necessary to limit casualties around the world.
Our commitment to a ceasefire is unflinching. There was a proposal on the table that was worked out amongst all parties, and we still hope and expect that all parties will stop this violence and allow for a de-escalation. There are too many lives at stake, not just in Lebanon, not just in the region, but indeed broader around the world.
And family members of hostages taken by Hamas during the October 7th attack on Israel, they want any possible ceasefire deal with Hezbollah to include the release of captives in Gaza.
There are negotiations for a ceasefire up north, and nobody is even mentioning the hostages. And we know that these things are connected to each other, that the northern part and the southern part, they're all a part of the same large situation in which we are at from October 7th on. And we're very worried that if we don't make the right decisions, now we will miss this opportunity, this amazing opportunity to get the hostages out.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrived in New York today, where he will deliver a speech to the United Nations General Assembly tomorrow.
It is 5:55, 23 degrees. You're watching Live at 5.
The Raptors haven't confirmed they will be retiring Vince Carter's jersey, but they did drop a major hint on social media. More on that coming up next.
Well, the Bentway, a popular public space underneath the Gardiner, it's expanding.
The second phase, called the Bentway Islands, will turn 3 traffic islands from Danleckie Way to Spadina Avenue into a massive public space. Field Operations, an urban design firm who helped on New York City's High Line, and Brooke McElroy, a Canadian expert in planning and architecture, were chosen to design the site. Initial concepts are expected to be unveiled in 2025. And construction likely won't start until the multi-year rehab construction on the Gardiner is complete. So a couple years still.
Yeah, for sure. And here's another story for Torontonians, one that'll have a lot of people talking. Yeah. Well, the Raptors, they haven't officially confirmed the news that Vince Carter's jersey will be retired this fall. They did offer a big hint. Take a look at this.
So there you have it. The team posted this video on Twitter today. It types out the name of 14 basketball greats, all of whom have had their jerseys retired by teams. When it reaches number 15, Vince Carter's number, the cursor stops and just flashes in one place. Here we go. I love hints like this.
Yes, I think this is so clever. Okay, let's watch together. All right, it's believed Toronto will raise Carter's jersey to the rafters on November 2nd. He'll be the first. There it is. He'll be the first Raptor to have his number retired. I think that pretty much makes it official. What do you think?
So. Yeah, I think there's not too many ways around that. It is 5:59 now, 23 degrees. This is Toronto's breaking news, CP24.
Thanks so much for watching. CTV News at 6 is next.